Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie Pellet and I am a creative coach and consultant for small business owners and entrepreneurs here in Toronto. And this is Ask Steph. This is my video show where I answer all of your business questions on everything from branding and marketing to content creation to limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome and everything in between. If you have a business question that you're burning to have answered, please feel free to drop it over on my website at stephaniepellet.com/ask and I will be so happy to answer it in an upcoming video. Here's our question for today. Hi Steph, I have a bit of a superficial question for you. I'm a service-based business owner and I feel like I'm struggling to connect with my ideal customers. I keep getting leads that aren't quite a fit, and I think it's because I'm not being clear enough with my values and my personality up front. But I'm also terrified to show up in my business, especially when it comes to showing my face. Eek! How did you become so comfortable with showing up fully in your business? Any tips you can share? I know it would probably help my business if I were more visible, because when I have one-to-one conversations with people, I'm able to make such wonderful connections. How do I start sharing more of me with my audience? Thanks in advance, struggling to show up. I love this question because I think it's one that so many people can relate to, myself included. When I first started out in my business, I was working behind the scenes of a lot of different brands, so I wasn't necessarily comfortable with showing up in my own business as a brand personality. It wasn't until I got a big push from some of my close friends that I decided to start experimenting with video and audio, using my own voice and my own face in my own business. I can say that as a result, my business has become more successful and has been more fun for me. And I can also tell you that it gets easier over time. Nowadays, it's no big deal for me to pick up my phone and record a few Instagram stories, but I can still remember very well the day that was extremely uncomfortable and difficult for me. So in today's video, I want to share some of the tips that helped me on my journey and things that I've seen work well for clients as well. One caveat that I should say up front is that of course there is no one size fits all in business, and this topic is no exception. If you are extremely uncomfortable with the idea of showing up in your own business as your own personality, or you're not a service-based business owner, this video might not be necessary for you to watch. There are lots of businesses that do not include the personalities of the founders and really work to create a personality for the brand itself or the product they're creating. So keep that in mind that this is not advice that will be universally applicable, but if you are a service-based business owner who wants to figure out how to connect more deeply to your clients and potentially see more of a values match with them in the future, keep watching. This could be a good one for you. Step 1, make a plan. I think we have this misconception that in order for our video and audio to seem natural, we have to be totally off the cuff and casual when we're recording it. But that is absolutely not the case at all. It is completely possible to be both personable and approachable while also being professional and polished because you've planned out what you wanted to say in advance. This can make all the difference with you feeling more comfortable, especially when you're just starting out with creating this kind of content. When I was first starting with doing Instagram stories, it may have looked and seemed like I just turned on my phone and started talking into it, but that was not what happened at all. Instead, I had carefully planned out all the talking points I wanted to hit and the point of this story series before I even started recording at all. So don't have any shame in needing this kind of preparation. You might think that the pros don't do things like this, but the fact is we don't really know what they do, and it is the kind of thing that gets easier over time. So don't compare where you're starting out to where someone else is in the middle of their journey. Just do what helps you, and in my experience, making a plan is a huge way to help yourself create this kind of content. Number 2, practice makes perfect. So on the note of having a plan, make sure that you also don't feel any shame in needing to re-record or practice many times over before you launch something. Again, when I was doing my Instagram stories for the first time, and even still to this day, usually what you see on Instagram is not my first take, and that is okay. The same is true for these videos. Do you know how many times I recorded that last segment? A lot, because there was noise in my house and I wasn't happy with my delivery. I know that takes some of the shine off of this kind of content, but it also feels more approachable, doesn't it? You know that the person speaking to you isn't necessarily this perfect polished robot who just really knows how to communicate. In fact, probably they took a few different takes in order to get it right, and you should give yourself that permission as well. If you have any kind of control over the content you're creating, such as a podcast, a video, Instagram stories, a reel, a post, anything that you're creating, Take the time and give yourself permission to do it again and again until you're happy with it. I know we think that we need to be that natural person who just flawlessly spills information out of our lips, but it's not really how the world works. So give yourself the space and time to re-record as many times as you need to feel comfortable and happy with the result. Number 3, do what you need to do. This one is a little bit vague, but it is just me giving you blanket permission to do anything you need to do in order to feel comfortable showing up on video or audio or in any way in your business. I'll give you a great example. When I first started with my Instagram stories, because that seems to be the example I'm using throughout this video, I used filters every time I got on there. For whatever reason, it made it seem less intimidating, like I didn't have to look perfect or have my hair and makeup perfectly done in order for me to show up there. By using a filter, even though I think they're a little bit problematic, I was able to get out of my own way and start showing up a lot more frequently. So when I say do what you need to do, I really mean it. If you need a filter over you to feel more vibrant, if you want to use a better kind of technology like a DSLR camera, for instance, or invest in a better microphone, those things can make a huge difference. I know when I upgraded my cell phone, for example, suddenly all of my videos looked a lot more polished and crisp because I had a much better camera and sensor that were making me look better in the videos. It really is amazing how much of a difference your technology can make. So if there's something you're thinking of right now that you know would make you feel more comfortable, please give yourself permission to use it. The price that you're paying by not showing up in your business could be a big one. And so if you need to give yourself a little boost or a little scaffolding to get you there, especially in the beginning until you feel comfortable, do not be ashamed to do that. I know that I no longer use filters, but I still credit them in a big way as being part of the reason I was able to show up more fully in my business. Number 4, use the buddy system. So speaking of feeling more comfortable, a really easy way to get more fun and joy out of this process is to grab a buddy. This could be your business bestie, a friend, someone in your co-working group, or a mastermind that you're a part of, anybody that you trust and enjoy their company, and then find a way to show up with them. There's so many strategies to make this happen. For example, you could be on their podcast or interview them for your podcast. You could do some kind of Instagram live conversation. You could show up on Clubhouse and moderate a discussion with other people. There are so many strategies to leverage the power of community and relationships in order for you to show your personality, but not be totally alone. It can be extremely intimidating to be alone with just you and the camera or the microphone in front of you. And so grabbing a buddy that can really help you through this process and create some of that dynamic energy that can be so compelling to be a part of is a great strategy for starting to show more of your personality without having to go it alone. So think of somebody in your life who you think it would be fun to do some kind of collaboration with, and then make a plan for it. Find a way to show up together, and I think you'll be surprised at how much personality and interest that you can bring to both of your communities as a result. Number 5, work your way up. So I know this can be kind of overwhelming to hear because there are so many different content strategies that you could try. And it's easy to feel behind or as if we're failing in our businesses if we're not implementing all of those strategies at once. But let me assure you, you have lots of time in your business. You do not need to be doing everything right now, no matter how many reels you see in your feed today. You can take your time, and a great strategy for starting to feel more comfortable showing up in your business is to start with something small that doesn't feel as intimidating as maybe another option further down the line might feel. So a good example is that if you haven't been showing up in your business at all, then it could feel really intimidating to start creating YouTube content. That might not be a jump that you're willing or able to take. But if you haven't really shown very many photos of yourself, that could be a good place to start. It doesn't feel as scary, but starting to show some photos and maybe including some fun facts or biography details about yourself could be a good way to introduce your audience to more of your personality before you even have to go live or share more of your voice and face in your business. So the answer for this is going to be different for everyone. Some people might actually find it more intimidating to share personal facts about them than they would to record an entire video. So I can't tell you a specific order that you should go through things in, but I think you know. What feels really scary right now and what feels a little less scary, but would still be a way for you to share your personality and your values with the people who follow you. Whatever that answer might be, find something that stretches you just a little bit outside of your comfort zone and start working your way up to the pieces that feel exciting but also scary. Before you know it, you're going to be doing all of the content that you want to do, and your audience members will be connected to you intimately. So there you have it, 5 simple strategies for starting to show up a little bit more fully in your business. I know it seems scary at first, but take it from me. There are huge gains to be had when you start showing up in your business in this way, and not just because you're more connected with your customers. Of course, there's that. It takes a lot of the work out of marketing when people already feel like they know you and trust you. But like I said before, it also makes your business more fun for you. When you're able to show up as your authentic self, use your personality, express your values, it makes running your business a lot more fun and enjoyable for you as well. So I'd love to hear in the comments below, which of these strategies will you be implementing first as you start to show up more in your business? Drop your information below and I would love to read about it and connect with you. And if you have a question for me, you can always ask over at stephaniepellett.com/ask, and I would be so happy to feature your question in an upcoming video. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.